Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near-death experience of Heather, and this experience occurred in March of 2016 and was documented on January 29th of 2017. Open quote. I was in hospital about to get an intravenous drip with anesthesia. When the line unkinked, the drugs came racing into my body. I felt my heart immediately go into extreme tach- tachycardia. My heart, I yelled. My heart! The nurses came running toward me. Suddenly, I was flying about 8 feet over my body. I was watching the scene below as the nurses scrambled through the cabinet looking for something. She was pulling things out and onto the floor. The nurse assistant ran into the surgery room. She grabbed the doctor, who ran over to me and started doing compressions while the nurses got the big needle out. They were arguing about whether it would be better to put it into my chest or into the IV line. I thought I was in a dream state until I looked at the EKG, and it was all flat lines with the alarms were going off. I said to myself, OF, I am dying. I could see the doctors down below trying frantically to bring me back. I said, I don't want to die. Oh my God, no! I tried to dive back into my body, but instead I was falling backwards through a dark tunnel with what seemed like thousands of miles per hour. It was horrifying until I started slowing down. I realized that it wasn't a dark tunnel. It was a tunnel with so many lights. There were so many colors I had never seen before. I wasn't afraid anymore. At the end of this tunnel was the most beautiful place in existence. I seemed to have arrived back in the room, but in another dimension. I was looking at everyone and everything in that hospital through what I can only describe as through the eyes of God. I felt the love of God for all these people in the hospital, the patients, the staff, and the receptionist. I never saw my own life, but I saw everyone else's life pass before my eyes. I saw the receptionist and everything about her. I saw her heart. I felt her love for her babies. I felt her pain and her thoughts. I saw the technician and everything in his life right then. I saw each person for who they really truly were. I saw what motivated them, and I saw their beautiful, soulful hearts. I saw their souls as if through the eyes and heart of God. I saw them, and I loved them, each and every person. I seemed to pull back from the room and up and out of the building. I saw people on the street and knew their pain. I saw them with pure love. Then I began getting an information download. There was no talking, just information going into me with absolute love. It was very clear, very loud, and very certain that we are, all caps, all very important to God. We are all deeply, deeply loved by God, and that life is supposed to be hard, but that it is some sort of proving ground for God to create him. The message was that our lives are deeply important to God and to the existence of the universe. Our love we have and the love we cultivate on earth, especially for people we have a hard time liking, that love somehow expands the universe and does some very important things. I felt that there was something at stake, that we have a very important job to do. Human beings are beloved, and our choice in how to act is given to us to prove God. I don't know how to describe it. I am trying hard to explain it, but it's hard to explain. It may take my lifetime to explain what I learned. In this place we go to, we will have lightness, laughter, and joy, and our soul family is there waiting for us. Our jobs on earth are to find out how to break through all these illusory walls everywhere that we erect to hide who we are. We need to really love each other and love ourselves. I felt as though there was a sense of humor, too. I was like a deep appreciation for our lives and even for our failures. We are supposed to learn from our failures and not beat ourselves up over them. We find a way to forgive and love ourselves because in reality, in the real place of creation, there is only love. It seemed the message was that if we couldn't find a path to love, then we are destroying something very, very precious. I recognized a big crowd of people around me, but they didn't have human form. I recognized their souls. They had pink shapes, but also resonated with the energy which was them. My great-uncle Steve, I felt him there. I also felt the presence of my grandmother, who was actually alive. It was then that I realized that when we pray, we actually send our soul self to the side of the person. It is an act of love which makes creation. The love was incredible, and the beauty was so absolutely outrageously incredible. When I was looking down at all these people and the doctor who was trying to save me, I was thinking, okay, man, let's get back in there. I love these people. Oh, these people are so loved. I wanted to go back so badly and tell them how loved they were. I was standing alongside this soul family of mine and in the presence of what I would describe as total love from the one who made it all. Yet, I wanted to go back. The next moment, I was back in my body and squeezed the doctor's hand who was holding my hand. He was crying to have me come back. I said, "Don't let me go. Oh, doctor, don't let me go." End quote. What a story and what a great message. And we are all loved by God and that love. There are some questions here, so let's see what we got. Question: at the time of your experience, was there an associated life-threatening event? Answer: yes. My heart wasn't functioning because there had been a problem with the anesthesia drip line. It had kinked for 40 minutes. And then when it unkinked, all the anesthesia drugs came racing into my system and stopped my heart. My heart wasn't functioning for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, during which time I was having an NDE. Question: did you feel separated from your body? Answer: yes, I was apart from my body completely. From the moment I was flying over my body to the time when I went through the tunnel, I was in an expansive location. I was surrounded by what I would describe as the soul selves of people I was familiar with and whom I did not know, but seemed to know somehow, but I couldn't recall. These people didn't have human bodies either. They were like misty pink shapes, smiling with joy and resonating with love. I had absolutely no pain, and I live in chronic debilitating pain from a spinal cord injury and CRPS, so I was definitely separated from my body. Question: did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer: there didn't seem to be the concept of time in this forever land. Although it seemed like things moved, which doesn't make sense to Newtonian physics or to Einstein's postulates, this place was a magnificent creation. It was ineffable and reminds me of how does one explain the beauty of Mozart's symphony. But I felt it in its entirety as it was. It seems like when we create beauty on earth, it is being manifest in heaven. When we sing on earth, it is amplified to the golden ratio in heaven, where it becomes like manna. Although in this place there is no hunger or thirst, there is just truth and satisfaction. Question: comparing your hearing. Answer: only when I first came out of my body floating over the room did I hear everything going on. I heard the alarms of the heart monitor, oximeter. I actually don't understand how my brain woke up after being deprived of oxygen for so long, but I did have a major cardio workup after that, and it didn't show any signs of lasting damage. Question: did you encounter or become aware of any deceased or alive beings? Answer: yes. Misty pink forms that I recognized their souls, even though they didn't have faces. It's like they seemed to resonate to a vibration of love, which was memorable to me. I have been trying to draw pictures of what I saw. Question: did you see an unearthly light? Answer: yes. I am an artist. The light I described was not white, but like zillions of colors of frequencies that I have never seen or experienced. It was totally different type of thing. I am interested in science and was wondering what was that. It was not a regular photon, but something utterly different. Question: did you seem to enter some other unearthly world? Answer: I seemed supersensory in this other realm. It seemed very clear to me that in our existence as human beings, we don't have the receptors to process this beauty or unique kind of light and sound. There seemed to be a music that each living thing possessed. I could actually feel, not just hear, the trees, animals, birds, grasses, and skies in this other reality, all caps. This place is where the things have a song which you can feel. It sounds bizarre, I know. I can barely explain it. Since the experience, I have been studying physics trying to make sense of it. Question: what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer: I felt pure and total love, lightness, joy, deepest compassion, and pure joy. There was a deep, warm, resonating, and incredible awe, along with inspiring love. Question: did you suddenly seem to understand everything? Answer: we are important to God, or whatever you want to call it. All religions are trying to explain God, but it is just impossible to explain. A true heart, which is motivated by loving compassion, is what matters in life. Our job is to try to love one another no matter what. It matters very much if we can love or not, because that is our job in this world. We must love! Exclamation mark. This is what we live for, and it doesn't mean we must only love our spouse. It means we need to find out how to love our enemy, because that is why we are here. We are also deeply important to God. Our job on earth is important. If we don't learn how to love, there are very bad consequences in the multiverse. My sense was strongly that we are needed, and our worth is how much we can love. Question: did scenes from the future come to you? Answer: this is extremely disturbing, in fact. I had dreams which seemed to be presented as riddles. I don't like to tell anyone this part of it. I don't like this part of it and all the other weird stuff which has happened afterwards. I feel other people's feelings, even people I don't know. I feel like people think I am a freak if they were to find out. But then my dreams, they have been coming true. I have these communications happening again. They are not voices or crazy people talk. The information is presented to me in dreams or in the waking hours. I even worried something was wrong with me, and I spoke with my psychologist. I started seeing him as a child, and I started telling him what I saw, and it was the truth. This stuff I am not at all comfortable with. I don't like this, and I am scared of this post-NDE ability. It makes no sense. I am trying to understand what possibly could be causing these things. I don't mention to anyone except to very few people because it sounds like I am some sort of nut job. The only people who I share it with are my Native American friends. I have distant family who are Native Americans who believe that what I am having is like medicine woman visions. As a scientifically minded person, I would assume these experiences would be some kind of brain damage, except that these dreams are coming true, and the things I mentioned to people does happen to them. I think I have to do a deep soul searching of myself to see what I truly believe here. I am, after all, an artist, and perhaps I have a very vivid imagination and am just making some strange guesswork. But sometimes I will walk into a room with someone, and it's like a memory replays in my head, except it's not my memory. It is nobody that I personally know. Twice, when I mentioned these things to a person, prefaced with, "Does this mean anything to you?" Then they started crying or something. I do not want to be a freak. I never asked for this. To my knowledge, who knows, maybe I did as an agreement with the other side on the way back. I am already an artist who some of society feels is an outsider, but I always thought mediums were wackos or frauds. I guess I would call myself an empath. Question: did you reach a boundary or limiting physical structure? Answer: the wall between the two worlds is but a filament, thin as a piece of baby's hair. The love we seek is right there, resonating right outside of us. We need only call on it. The world here on earth is not supposed to have all this beauty from the other side. We are supposed to bring the beauty to this world with our love. That is what it means, human love, to bring it into a new consciousness. Question: what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer: moderate Jewish. Question: what is your religion now? Answer: moderate Jewish. Question: did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer: yes. My belief that there are multiple dimensions is certainly cemented in my mind. I have always had a deep quest for knowledge, but it has now grown much more intense. My formerly wavering belief in God is now rock solid. It is totally complete without a doubt. That place is the real reality. That place I went to is not this place. This is some kind of proving ground. Question: what life changes occurred in your life after your experience? Answer: yes, I believe my life's purpose has changed, and so I am uncertain where this will lead. Question: was the experience difficult to express in words? Answer: yes. The level of love was so incredible, immense, and overwhelming. I have never felt that anywhere on earth. Also, the environment I was shown after falling at impossible speeds backwards through this giant tunnel at first was very scary. I didn't want to be in the tunnel. I wanted to be back in my body. But then, at the end of the tunnel, I was back in the room, sort of. I was in this place I can't even describe because it's more beautiful than anything I've ever seen or experienced in my life. It was ethereal. The beauty I could taste, although it didn't seem to have a body because there was an absolute absence of pain. I didn't seem to have a body because there was an absolute absence of pain. I felt absolute joy, happiness, lightness, and perfection. It was complete and total perfection. This place was an expansive forever, and yet the room was there, like in a glass cube. The cube is the dimension we live on earth, and it is but a tiny fraction of the reality of existence. We on earth in our lives only see with these very few little senses. Meanwhile, in reality, all caps, and that's what I had the sense of, is that true reality consist of far more than the small dimensions we have on earth. We have our five senses on earth, and it is upon this that we build our entire sense of what we are, who we are, and what we are doing here. In reality, there are far more elements and far more senses that our soul beings have. Now, this sounds insane, but if you can imagine this to a theoretical physicist or to a Jewish mystic, it almost makes sense, I suppose. I have been studying these things to try to make sense of the information I received. Question: do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before the experience? Answer: yes. This is embarrassing to mention, but yes. I even had to get in touch with someone to do cleansings on my home because there were so many weird and unexplained things happening. Some of these things my husband also witnessed, so it was not at all an illusion. I first was thinking I was losing cognitive functions because of the oxygen loss when my heart stopped, but the things which have been happening are inexplicable and bizarre. I would only tell a very select few of individuals. Question: are there one or several parts of the experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer: the best part was experiencing the love that God has for all of us and getting to experience how God loves us through his eyes. The opportunity for me to feel truly loving compassion for another person was life-changing. The worst part was worrying that my life would be cut short. I'm still young and have so much life to live. I have always loved my life so much. Question: have you ever shared this experience with others? Answer: yes. I have only shared this experience with 12 people and some people in certain online communities. I feel people will think I am crazy, fringe, conspiracy theorist, nut job, which has not served me in my work at all. This experience has thrown a real curveball at me, however, because after having this experience, I can't exactly go back to business as usual. I watched a bunch of videos on Amazon Prime about NDEs, and I laugh at the scientists who are cocky and declare that NDEs are just a product of reduction in certain neurotransmitters to certain parts of the brain. That is so ridiculous. I have learned because we know so little about the central nervous system. I search endlessly for the truth. This I have known since I was a child. At 10 years old, my mom asked me what I wanted to do when you grow up. I told her, well, Mom, I have a feeling my life will consist of a kind of compassionate search for the truth. That sure hasn't changed. At any time in your life, has anything ever reproduced any part of the experience? Answer: yes. Since I have a terminal illness, which is a very painful one, each time that the pain becomes too much for my human body to deal with, I do what they call transcendental meditation. I close my eyes and sit if I am able. I imagine my body from the belly button up back into the heavenly realm. I prayed to the ones who surrounded me with their love, and I asked for their guidance. I asked sometimes for their help and for their love to fill up my soul and to help heal my body. After breaking my neck and having the botched surgery, I live in terrible pain, where sometimes I can only take a breath at a time. 2 years ago, I was given 2 years before I would be living in a wheelchair. Well, I am still standing. When I have these moments, believing my head and neck are in the heavenly realm, sometimes I write, sometimes I ask questions and write down answers coming from what I would call my higher self. Question: is there anything else that you would like to add about your experience? Answer: thank you for asking to share. I hope that I have an opportunity to connect with others who have had this experience. I know that whomever is reading this, You are deeply loved. Your life is deeply important to God. God is greater than anything you could ever even fathom, too great for me to even experience. I just felt the presence of God and His love. You, my dear person, reading this are important. Your life is critical. The love you have inside you is beautiful and brilliant, and it is needed on this earth. You can change this world with your love, which is entirely particular to you only. You have your own song. End quote. End questions. End story. Thank you, Heather. And what a great way to end that. Thank you for listening to. Have a nice day.